Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to Keeping Fish Simple. So in today's video, we are going to be doing another vlog. A few things have happened in the fish room since the last time we've done a vlog, but something really random's happened today and something exciting. So over the last month, I've had a lot of Pleco breeding. I've actually got a Peppermint on some wrigglers right now, and I also have a few trappings over in my L333 tank. I've been struggling a bit with my L270s and my L397s because those males have been continuing to eat their eggs. And I also had a spawn from my L201s the other day, but the male let some snails in the cave and the snails ate the eggs, so that was pretty frustrating. But behind me in my L270 tank, I had a male that was on eggs. I didn't bother recording this process because I didn't really know whether he'd be successful in raising these guys up. So what my plan was to leave the eggs in with the male, let him hatch them, and then on the first day of them being hatched, take the wrigglers out of the cave and put them into a breeder box hanging on the aquariums. I went ahead and did that this morning. To my surprise, there's two really cool things that I've never kind of seen before, at least in my fish room. I've seen other people, like my mate Paul, who has his own YouTube channel. I'll link that down below. He once had frontoses that were Siamese twins, so they had two heads, and he actually got them to survive for a bit. But I've got not one, but two Siamese twin wrigglers. I'm not too sure whether they're going to survive. I kind of don't think they will, but I just wanted to show you guys what they look like, and I'm not encouraging this breeding. Even if they survive, I'm not going to try and continue to breed this Pleco to have two heads. I just thought it'd be really interesting to show you guys because it's something that's super rare and never happened to me. So let's go and have a look. Okay, so I'm not the tallest guy, so it's a little bit hard to get a good camera angle here, but up in this container, you can see that I've set up a breeder box. Now, what's up in this breeder box is, I think, about 13 L270 wrigglers, well, healthy wrigglers, and then two Siamese twins. So if I get a little bit of a close-up, you'll see that both of these wrigglers have two heads. So I'm not too sure how this happened. I don't know the full genetics of how these things work, whether two eggs fused together or whether it was the egg just developed two heads. I have really no clue. From what it looks like, I mean, they're still alive right now. When I kind of blow a bit of water on them, they do wriggle, but because they have two heads, yeah, like this one's wriggling here, and so is this guy. But because I have two heads, I think they're gonna have a really hard time maturing into actual fish. I'm gonna do my best job of trying to get them through the whole way, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting to see. Like, they have literally two heads. So one of them has the two heads right next to each other on the same neck, basically, and then the other one has a head on either side of it. It's really weird to see, so I'm not too sure what's going to happen. I'll keep you guys updated. I think likely, don't get disappointed in this video, I think likely they're going to die. But if they don't, it'll be pretty cool to see a double-headed Pleco. So that's what's going on over here. Over on the other side of the fish room, I do have Peppermint that's on wrigglers, so I can show you guys that. And I also, on the other side of the fish room, have some L333s that I can show you that are trappings. Let's go have a look at that Peppermint. Okay, so if we come over to this side of the fish room, you can see we have a colony of Peppermint bristlenose. Now, this is actually the third colony of Peppermint bristlenose I have. I picked these guys up about 3 months ago, and I have two other colonies that have been breeding pretty routinely. So I wasn't expecting these guys to start having success for a little bit. It takes Pleco colonies a little bit before they settle in and actually start breeding properly. About a month and a half in, I noticed these guys were spawning. They kicked the eggs out once, and the other time I did see a male on eggs, but he just ate them. But finally, it looks like in this cave, we have a male that's actually taking care of his eggs and hatched them out himself. The priority for me when these things are happening, like I have Plecos eating eggs and stuff like that, is to try and get the Plecos into an environment where the eggs are going to hatch really well. So what I do is try and get that TDS in the water down to basically 0. Well, you can't really get the TDS down to 0, but the KH down to 0, because that carbonate hardness blocks up the membrane of the egg, and then the males will notice the eggs aren't going to hatch properly and they'll just eat them. I've been doing this by adding Indian almond leaves to the tanks, and it's been working well. What I'm going to do is let this male raise them all up until they're actually basically fry, ready to come out of the cave, and then I'll just add them to a tank, and they normally go pretty good from there. So I've talked about Peppermints heaps, but it's really good to see this happening in the fish room. Okay, and then also if we come over here, in this tank we have a bunch of blue-black rams growing out, but also in this tank we have a colony of L333s, and we also have a few long-nosed whiptails that are growing out in here waiting till they breed, but they haven't started breeding yet. We've actually had a few spawns from our L333s. The first spawn we had, I actually took the eggs out and hatched quite a few of them successfully, and I have some fry over the other side of the fish room that have been growing really well. But since then, I had one other spawn that I know of where the male just kicked the eggs out straight away. I'm not too sure why this happened. It honestly looked like it was an accident, and this is just kind of the stuff that happens when you have really young frisky fish. I've noticed there's been a lot of trapping in this tank, and I actually have 2 males trapping females right now. Keep in mind they've been trapping for about a week and I still haven't seen any eggs yet. That's not necessarily a bad thing, it's good that they're trapping, but hopefully they don't beat up the females too much. Hopefully we do get a few spawns from these guys in the coming days. I'll obviously keep you guys updated with that. As a lot of you guys would know, I've been struggling a little bit in hatching the eggs out of these plecos. I wasn't really ready for them to all start breeding so quickly, so I was thrown off a little bit by getting tons of eggs from them. It's been a little bit tricky trying to figure out how to actually breed them properly without killing the fry. I've talked to a lot of pleco breeders, and the method from here is to try and get the males to hatch the eggs and then take them out that first day like I did with those 270s you saw at the start of the video, and raise them up in the same tank water as the parents and then move them on later. I guess the reason I've been having a little bit of trouble getting the males to do this is because of the water quality and also because they're young fish and they're stupid. For me, the priority now is to try and keep the KH in all of the aquariums that I'm breeding plecos in at 0 or as close to 0 as I can. You can do that through either adding RO water or through adding kind of like botanicals to your aquarium. What I mean by botanicals is like Indian almond leaves or other types of leaves that help bring that pH and KH down. You have to be a little bit careful doing this. You can really easily crash your pH if you don't have any KH in the water, because the KH is what buffers the pH. This is probably confusing a lot of beginners, but it's really not complicated. Just when you're adding tons of leaves to your aquarium, be careful, because what you can do is just crash the pH and kill all the fish in the aquariums. It is risky, but so far it's worked in the 270 tank, and hopefully it'll work throughout the other aquarium. Hopefully these guys breed. We'll keep you guys updated with the L270 Siamese twins. Fingers crossed they all grow out fantastic, and then I can keep 2 Siamese twins in the fish room somehow. So that's being optimistic. I don't know whether they're actually going to be able to do that. I'll see you guys in a couple of days. Okay, so it's now the following day and we're back in the fish room, and I have some bad news. So overnight, one of our little Siamese twins has died. We've still got one of them that's alive and seems to actually be developing, but the other one did die this morning, and I didn't record that because I didn't really want to show that. The one that died had like its heads on either end of its body, and it looked kind of like it wouldn't have developed properly anyways, and it did have a lot more trouble than the one that we have that's alive now. It seemed like it was having more trouble developing, so it's probably better that it didn't survive, but we still have this other one that's surviving. It is looking a little bit weak, but it does seem to actually be developing, so hopefully it continues to develop into a little pleco. All of its brothers and sisters are developing really well. I guess we'll just have to see whether it actually does survive. But yeah, I was just updating you guys to let you know that we did lose one, but we still have one that's alive, so fingers crossed we do get one of these Siamese twins through. Okay, so it's now the next day and I do have some bad news. Overnight, our little guy has died. This wasn't really a surprise. Like, I was a little bit optimistic yesterday thinking that he would survive. It's probably not something I did, just I think genetically he would never have made it. I'm still gonna upload this video. I think this is really cool to show people that these genetic mutations can happen, and I thought that it was a little bit interesting. I'm a little bit flat about it. All of our other little 270 wrigglers are doing fantastic and growing, so that's really good. I've actually got 12 of them, which is quite a decent spawn. I was expecting to probably get like 20 to 30 when these guys hit their full stride, but 12 is a pretty good starting batch. I've actually not got any of these guys in the fish room yet. To finally have some in production is pretty good, but it's a little bit disappointing, a little bit sad. I would have loved to have had a little Siamese twin catfish in the room. It's probably for the best. Like, I would have rathered he die now than have like a full life of suffering. But besides that bad news, there are a few other things I'm going to update you guys that have happened in the fish room over the last couple of days to wrap this vlog up. So let's go over to the other side of the fish room. So the first thing's over here in our Peppermint bristlenose tanks. We actually had another spawn, so we've still got our male that's on wrigglers down below, and I'm probably going to pull those in the next video. So I'm leaving them in the cave with the male for now, and he's taking care of them really well. We actually did get another spawn. Yesterday I came into the fish room and I had a look inside this tank, so the newer colonies tank, which is really good to see. I saw that there were some eggs on the floor, so obviously a male had spawned and kicked out the eggs stupidly. So I decided just to pick them up and put them in a tumbler. I've actually put them in this tank up above. No specific reason why. The reason I've done it, I think, is just because of the airline tubing that was just there. It was convenient and I didn't know whether they'd hatch. It seems like these eggs are developing, so that's really good to see. I did just pull out one that was kind of like a little bit rotten and wasn't going to hatch. I pulled it out and I removed that egg so it couldn't go and fungus over any of the other eggs in there. So that's really good. I've also added a few shrimp to eat any fungus that grows on the eggs, and hopefully this method works. This is slightly different to what I've been doing in the past to hatch my eggs. I mean, I have been adding shrimp before, but I think this is the right environment for the eggs to hatch in, and hopefully everything goes good. Over on the other side of the fish room as well, in our L333 tanks, we still have 2 trappings, so no eggs yet. Hopefully we do get some eggs very soon, but they've been trapping for like 4 days now. Getting a little bit worried. Hopefully those females don't get too beaten up. Also in our L270 tank, like with our wrigglers, the male's back trapping another female, so we might have more eggs again. So yeah, there's tons of stuff going on in the fish room that's really exciting. I'm a little bit disappointed still about that Siamese twin, but what are you gonna do about it? Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate you guys watching these, and yeah, leave a like down below if you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.